Alright, here we go. We got a square pyramid here. We are going to find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of that figure. So, usually with the pyramids here, we will want to make a right triangle, just like this right here. And if you have a square pyramid, that means the bottom piece of that triangle should be 5 right there. And then we will do Pythagorean theorem. The reason we do Pythagorean theorem there is to find the slant height. We usually use L for that. So I guess we will go and do 5 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared or L squared or whatever you want to put there for that. And that helps us find the slant height. It's Pythagorean theorem there. So that'll be a 25 plus 12 squared. That'll be 144 equals L squared. I think that adds up here to 169. And then when we square root both sides, we will get L is 13. Okay, and that's one crucial thing we will need here for our formulas. Let's go ahead and write out our formulas off to the side here. So for the lateral surface area here, we will need to go do our perimeter, or I'm sorry, 1/2 perimeter times the L. Okay, for surface area, we'll go 1/2 the perimeter times L. But then we'll add on one base right there. The area of the base is B. And then for volume, you will go 1/3, and then the area of your base times the height of the prism. The height of the prism, that's just going straight up and down. Sometimes it's kind of good to relabel those dimensions there. That's where H is right there. The H is 12 in this case. L is 13, or the slant height's 13. So a couple other things that we will need. We need our big base, the area of our base. The area of our base is just the area of this square right there. So that's just 10 times 10. There's another 10 right there. So area of the base will be 100. The perimeter of the base actually is just going to be adding 10, 4 times together right there, or 10 times 4, so that should be 40. Then our units there will be meters. And then from there, we can go start plugging in everything we know. We know that we need to go 1/2 the perimeter, which is 40, and then times the length, which was, 13? And then if that was on a non-calculator section, I'd go 1/2 of 40, that's going to be 20, and then 20 times 13, that's going to be 260. And then we will put meters squared there for the unit. Okay, surface area, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go 1/2 of 40 times the 13. But then we're going to add on one of the bases, so we'll add on 100 to that, so that should just be 360. And then I guess meters squared. And then 1/3 times the base, the area of the base, which is 100, and then times the height, which the height was, that was 12 here in this case. Okay, and then if that were to be on a non-calculator section, I'd do the 1/2 times the 12, or I'm sorry, the 1/3 times the 12 first. That would be 4, and then 4 times 100 would be 400. And then we'll write that as 400 meters cubed. Since it is volume, it is a cubic type of unit. Okay, the next section here, you got a bouncy ball has a diameter of 6 centimeters. Find its surface area and volume. Okay, for the surface area, your formula for that is 4 pi r squared. And then for the volume, it's 4/3 pi r cubed. And you want to be really careful there on that. A common misconception, or a common error, I guess I see, is a lot of people will put 4/3 pi r squared. So make sure you get the cubed there. And then let's go see what our dimensions are. If the diameter is 6, that means the radius is going to be 3, so it's 1/2 of that. And then we'll go ahead and plug that right in right away. So if we go 4 pi r squared, that's 4 times pi, and then 3 squared. All right, and what I tell my kids in class here is if you're going to type that in the calculator, or if you're going to do that in your head, really you're just going to go put pi at the end of your answer. Of course, you need your units as well, but we'll go ahead and do 3 squared first, that's 9, and then 9 times that 4, that's going to be 36 right there. And that's it on those. Okay, now when you're doing the 4/3 pi r cubed, do that, 4/3 pi r cubed. So 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. So I think that comes out to 27. And a good way to do 4/3 times 27, oops, is keep it as like 27 over 1. Both of those reduce the corners right there. 3 goes into 27 9 times, and then 9 times 4 will get you 36. It happens to come out to the same number right there. And then we'll go and put our units, surface areas, centimeters squared, and then volume is centimeters cubed. So those will be your 2 answers there on that. Let me highlight those since that's kind of close. That's it. Okay, next you have what appears to be a cube. Looks like they're missing a couple of these markings here, but it appears that all the sides there will be congruent. And they give us a total surface area of that cube. Now, a cube is just like a prism. It's a specific type of prism. So some people will write out for the surface area for a cube happens to be 6s squared, like this. It's basically you do your side squared, and then since there are 6 of those sides, you multiply that answer by 6, and that's kind of where the formula comes from. But then they tell us the total surface area here is 150, so we'll plug in 150, just like that, and then we're trying to get s squared by itself. So we'll do that by dividing by 6, and I believe that, yeah, that's going to be 25. Trying to do a little mental math there. And then to get rid of that s squared, or the squared piece, you will square root both sides. And that'll get you 5. So yeah, you are square rooting both sides right there, and that gets you 5. Okay, and then that is the side length right there. Each side is going to be 5. And what are they asking for? The edge or the side length, so that's 5. I guess if we wanted to find the lateral area formula, here I guess I'll write it next to this, is going to be 4s squared. Remember, the lateral area is basically everything except the bases. So basically, that's going to be 4 of your sides, not 6 of your sides. So it's 4s squared, and then volume cubed is s cubed. Those are your formulas for that. All right, and then so 4s squared. I guess we'll punch that off to the side here. Punch it out off to the side. So let's write that here. 4s squared is going to be 4 times 5 squared. I think that comes out to actually 100. So that is your lateral area. 100, that would be in inches squared. By the way, the edge would just be in regular one-dimensional units. So that would be just inches. And then if we're going to do the volume is just s cubed. So that's going to be 5 cubed. 5 times 5 times 5. I believe that comes out to 125. So we'll say that's 125 inches cubed. All right, now last one here on this page. You have a prism here. It's actually a triangular prism. Big misconception that people mess up on the test is they call the bottom the base right here. They say the base is a rectangle. That's not true for prisms. Prisms, usually the lateral faces are rectangles. The prism's named off of the 2 sides that are parallel and congruent. And the only 2 sides that are parallel and congruent are these 2 triangles right here. So those are going to be your bases. Okay. Now for your formulas, there's a couple things you need. You need the perimeter. You're going to need the height. It'll let me write it right here. And then you need the area of the base. Now the area of the base of prisms will differ from each problem. So with this here, it is a triangular prism. So the area of the base is going to be 1/2 the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. Okay, which is different than the height of the prism. Okay, so you just got to be kind of careful on that. So before we start finding everything, one thing I noticed we're missing here is we're missing the hypotenuse of this right triangle here for the triangular base right there. So typically if you have a right triangle and you're trying to find a missing side, we will go and use Pythagorean theorem for that. So I guess I'll call it x here for a minute, and then we'll go and do 9 squared plus 12 squared, and then equals x squared. I think those are some of the same. No, not quite, actually. So is that 144 x squared Sorry, just thinking out loud here. I think that's going to add up to 225. Yeah. And then once you square root both sides, that's going to be 15 for your hypotenuse. Okay, now that's significant because that's going to actually help us find the perimeter. The perimeter of the triangular base right here is just adding up all the sides is 9 plus 12 plus 15. What's that going to be? 9 plus 12 should be 21. 21 plus 15 should be 36. Okay, now, big thing here. The height of the prism is the distance between the two bases. That's going to be that distance right there. That's how far apart the two bases are. Basically, this prism is on its side, I guess. If you want to treat height like going up and down, it's like someone knocked this prism over. So yeah, the height is always the distance between the bases right there. It's going to be 20. For the area of the base, we want to do the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. That's going to be these two numbers here. It's going to be 12 times 9, and then half of that. And really, you can do that in any order that you want. 1/2, 12 times 9. I know half of 12 is 6, and then 6 times 9, it's going to be 54. And then now that we have all of that information, now we can go and do the rest of the lateral area, surface area, volume. So here, let's copy over a couple of these here. What are our units? I think it's in feet. Double check. Yep, feet. It's 36 feet, 54 feet. Lateral area for a prism is going to be pH. Actually, just pH. Surface area is pH plus 2b. And then volume is just the area of the base times the height. And then we'll punch those out. So P, what was that, 36? And then 36 times our height, 36, what was our height? It was 20. So we'll do 36 times 20. According to my notes here, that's 720, and then that'd be in feet squared. All right, for the total surface area, you got to add on your two bases. So it's still 36 times 20, or that 720 that we got earlier, and then 2 times 54, which I think adds up to like 108. So add up 108 onto that 720, and that gets 828. Okay, and then volume, big B times H, or in this case, big B is 54. 54 times 20, and then I think that is 1080. And then I like to go back and put all my units at the end and check those. Volume's usually cubic units, lateral and surface area, and then actually the area of the base, whoops, I messed that up, should be feet squared, and then that perimeter will just be regular feet.